all the crimes that are being committed in the public eye that again are documented, they're recorded. But it's God love everybody, so you want to be like God. If you're an atheist, you're supposed to just treat everybody with some type of love and respect, and just be a good person, even though that's subjective too, and that's objective. Hitler subjectively was a good person to his people.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Nobody wants to talk about that though, because they won the war. If Hitler and them won the war, World War One and Two, it'd be a completely different topic, completely different discussion. But we're under the side that had made their point and chose their allegiance. So now this is the narrative that we're left with. That's a narrative that we have to live in. But we do have a moral compass and a way to govern our lives outside of theirs. And so long as we ain't breaking no laws over here, we ain't got to worry about what we're doing out there. Because again, on paper, most of their laws aren't adverse to the Bible as such. Again, on paper, but what they're actually doing is completely different. Let me get the next ones. But again, man, what happened in Chicago, what happened in Texas, what happened in Boston, again, mass shootings, man, mass shootings for no apparent reason. Why is this not working? I'm trying to, I had a bunch of them saved on different tabs, but it's not letting me get back to it. There we go. But now we think we know what's right, because you got all these. What was that? What was that weirdo? That passed away. Kevin James? No.
Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels. Some internet gurus that think that they know how to counsel people live on the internet, exposing all their issues. And you got them dumbass callers that are going to call in and expose themselves live. Anytime that somebody tries to do that on like Cross the Line Radio, come. Anytime that somebody try to do that on Cross the Line Radio, Captain Tazaria, Captain Got like one of the first things that they do is they almost kind of like shut it down real quick. Make sure like if is this something that you want to do live on the air, or should we, they'll give them their phone number and we can contact them later, and you can discuss that off the air, so you're not exposing yourself. But again, the times that we live in, man, they don't observe abstinence or culpability, responsibility, acknowledgement. They don't. They have no adherence to a code of conduct outside of pleasure, and really, that's pretty much how it's governed. Whatever makes you feel good must be right. And on paper, they may have laws against this, that, or the third, but as we've seen from, I mean, time and time and time again, historically, we have seen them go back on that word. We've seen them not, I mean, good Lord, like you got famous people out there that guilty of bestiality and incest and rape and molestation that were public figures that were supposed to be, like a symbol of decency and truth. And we accept it because the government said so, and because other celebrities and people of influence had co-signed it. So we think that's the right way to go. Jeremiah chapter 17, verses 9 through 10. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Verse 10. I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. We're not seeing that being scrutinized in this society. We're seeing everybody's delicate nature being catered to. And the consequences and repercussions of this is children being shot at a 4th of July parade. Because you were there at a 4th of July parade is why you got shot. So in the overall view, just to help people kind of make sense of this, that kid got shot. That specific child would not have gotten shot if that child did not attend that 4th of July parade, because he wouldn't have been there. But because he was there and somebody was sitting there shooting and sniping people, he was one of the people that got murdered, just like the other 6. So initially, when I saw the report, there were 6 people that got murdered. There was another one in the hospital. That person had died, which became the 7th victim. There were others that had gotten shot that survived it. But also the shooter wasn't met with the same energy. They didn't murder nobody. They didn't murder nobody. Let me try to move this, kick that out the way. Slide it more forward. They got handcuffed, walked let's see what the report said. But that child and the other people that were victims of that act, because they were at that function, if there were no 4th of July holidays or parades, those people wouldn't have gotten shot. If there weren't Christian churches, that devil wouldn't have walked up inside that building and decided to shoot them up. Being what's the word? I guess being unprofiled, because they don't profile those people. I mean, they get away with a whole lot. I mean, they look and act the part of your model citizen, and until you do like the background check and find out that there were some weirdos anyway. But they don't get charged or criminally targeted the same way that they do us. And we're not even the ones that do this. Like, we murder each other, which is a part of another reason why it's not that big of a deal to America. We murdering each other. We doing their job for them. If we were gangbanging and warring with other nations, like other races and ethnicities, committing the same crimes that we doing against each other to them, it'd be a whole different ballgame. But again, we love the society and all of its everything that it affords. All the drugs, all the pleasures, all the horrors, all the distractions. 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Now, that's gotta be a contradiction against John 3:16. You know, the most famous scripture that everybody wants to try to quote because it's got the word world in it, and how it's written down. You know, for God so loved the world. He didn't say the whole world though. He didn't say he did not say the entire world, but he did say for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever, should believe, and I'm paraphrasing, that whoever should believe would be saved. That seems pretty ambiguous. You know, that doesn't seem to me, and could be wrong, but that doesn't seem detailed. Especially when you look at passages like this, 1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Stop going to 4th of July parades. Stop going to Juneteenth events. Stop celebrating Christmas and birthdays and New Year's. And, this, that, and the third. Stop trick-or-treating. Stop going out on Halloween. And stop busting your back over Valentine's Day. Like, again, if you look at the patterns around these holidays, it happens all the time. Murders, overdoses, suicides. And again, you got more and more of these weirdos doing mass shootings. This dude did it with a sniper rifle, man. It's not like he walked into the club with an AR and Uzi or Glock or something like that and just lit the place up. Yeah, he was out there, picking and choosing his targets. He got the scope on there. Unless he was shooting, just block, 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 block. He had a scope. He could see who he was shooting. One of his targets was a 15-year-old, which again happens every day in America by our oppressors.
Right.
Which is why we need to stop doing it with each other. Because when our ways please the Most High, even our enemies will be at peace with us.
Right.
And that's a hard concept for people to understand because we ain't never known peace. Mm-hmm. Like anybody that's alive right now, like I can't think of nobody that I personally know that has known peace, that hasn't lived in a crazy neighborhood, that hasn't had some, very unfortunate things going on inside their family. For those that could say that, hey, Most High in Christ. I don't want no pain for none of us. It's just an unfortunate reality that the majority of us have gone through, some of these things. And we got to have these conversations, which is why the ISUPK and Commander General is open 24/7 for counsel.
That's right.
Go to isupk.com, scroll down to the Contact Now button, and find that school near you. If there's any issues you got that you need an answer to, if you need some help with something, if you feel the overwhelming, notion to help, the cause, to make a donation. You should be paying your tithes anyway, but to make a donation at least.
Right.
We're here for us. We're not here for the Christians' theology of John 3:16. We're not here for that. We're here for Israel because these records and everything that they're quoting is only about Israel. And we have to separate ourselves from that mindset. And again, there's that time. There's that time. Everything has its season. The time to love and the time to hate. We are in that time when this society is loving everything that matches their sentiment. and it's hating everything that don't. So that means you, if you following the Most High. If you're not following the Most High, if you're in the Egyptology, or if you're in the horoscopes, or comedic spirituality, or whatever else, atheism, agnostics, Christianity might as well be too. If you're into all that other stuff, all that other jargon, I mean, yeah, expect to be accepted by the world. If you hold that staunch belief that these records only pertain to you, and you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you need to stand on this point and just show that division. You ain't gotta berate nobody. You ain't gotta go out there and fight nobody, steal or rob for nobody, and physically harm somebody. You ain't gotta answer no questions. Like on the job site or on school, something like that. Your supervisor wanna come to you because he saw something on your Facebook that you don't agree with. That's against the company's core values. You ain't gotta sit there and tuck tail and run. I mean, hell, if they want to fire you over it, you got a potential lawsuit on your hands. That's discrimination.
Right.
Think of the term anti-Semitism.
Right.
How many people have gone to court over that? And one, boy, let me tell you, they got some money out there for you. But for the most of the people, like that's not the spirit that they got. They don't want to fight. They don't want to stand different. They want to go to a 4th of July parade and show off some sparklers and see all the flashing lights. For somebody else's independence. They ain't got nothing to do with you. And on those couple days of the year when it's supposed to be about your independence, gets ransacked by our oppressors. And we end up paying them money to celebrate our own independence. And then we give them even more money to celebrate their independence. And nobody sees a problem with that. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
Right.
1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Verse 16. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, which is namely what governs everything out here, all the influences, everything that we are captivated by. It's a form of lust of the flesh. So I mean, not only what you might covet on the side, but what you want for yourself. And the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. And it's like it. Yeah, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. That whole John 3:16, like that's not this world. It's the same word, but that's not the same context. The Bible is showing that these records are showing a very distinct difference based off of like how would I say it? The way that they spit this is very different from what we've received. Because you had rugged and smooth brothers from back in the day living through the same things that we living through.
Right.
That were the forefront, that were the pioneers of this world, delivering this message, bringing these truths out, showing these examples to our people and our people only. This was the audience. Everybody else saw it. That's why they was able to manipulate it and try to attach themselves to it. But that world that we talking about here, That's your LGBTQ communities. That's your vote or die communities and philosophy. That's your make weed legal environments. Um, what's and so like I can't remember the term that I was just thinking of, but just to substitute it, your proper pronoun communities, which I guess would fill in with the LGBTs, but this is the world that's accepted by everybody else, which is why we are that nation not desired, because we are supposed to choose something different than what we've been presented with, that we keep on getting pressed with. We're 17, and the world passes away. So like all this, like it ain't gonna last. We're spending so much time and energy and concentration and focus on something that's gonna die off. This is not gonna last, especially when the Lord's kingdom comes into play. The end of Esau, the beginning of Jacob, on earth as it is in heaven. That kingdom, when this takes over the entire world, the entire known world, the entire known solar system, galaxy, universe, everything that you invested into equal rights for, again, people that hate you, you're gonna see it like how foolish that was, and what a mistake that was. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. In the world, it's like in the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. That's gonna let you know, like everything that we fixated on right now, that's gonna come to an end. It's gonna come to a time where the Most High is just gonna shut it down, and you're only gonna be able to go in this direction, follow that narrow path, which is gonna mean life, or you're gonna walk that wide path, which is gonna mean death. All like everything in this world, all your lusts, that's gonna go to the one side. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever. That's gonna walk the narrow path, and you're gonna see that difference. You're gonna see all them bodies mounting up and just piling up, and you're gonna see the world buckle, and it's gonna have to change over. The authority is gonna change over. It's not gonna be left into the hands of your Biden's, or like the dumbass argument of Biden or Trump. It's never gonna be that again at this point. Um, when the kingdom is restored, it's never gonna be that argument. You ain't have to worry about Hillary's and Palin's and what's old girl name, the vice president, Harris's.
Kamala Harris.
Yeah, you ain't gonna have to worry about Kamala Harris's or Harris's. You ain't gonna have to worry about Biden's and Trump's. You ain't gonna have to worry about Democrats or Republicans. Everything is like it's gonna be shut down. And at that point, it's gonna be too late to make your choice willingly. You're gonna end up being left in the last choice that you have made, the last allegiance that you have made, and the servitude that you're gonna have to follow. That's gonna be because of what you chose to do before, even after hearing the word. And again, there's a lot of resources out here for you to learn the truth. Certainly always look it up. Always do your due diligence and do your research. Encyclopedias and libraries and dictionaries and online this, that, or the third. Like there's a lot of resources that you can tap into to try to delve into what's real, what's not, what's expected of you, what's not, where you fit in, where you don't. But if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you fit in and you are commanded to come back home.
That's right.
He commanded to come back home. The Lord requires his flock.
That's
And
right.
you do not want to be the one that he got to come see because you failed his flock, because you let that one sheep go, because you turned your back on him, because you didn't, because you just wanted them to live free and experience life and just be themselves. Things like that's gonna get them murdered. Things like that's gonna get them on that missing placard at your local Walmart. You understand what I'm saying? Now, even though like we all like Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, I mean everybody go to a Walmart and you're gonna see them faces.
Right.
But there's no law enforcement agency that actually has a hold on protecting those missing faces. They don't often, all too often, they do not be, they're not recovered. They go missing, you don't see them again. That's the pattern. That's just what normally happens. You might get a couple of them back. And I'm happy for every family. And I'm sorry for them at the same time that they had to go through that, but got a result.
Right.
But we're relying on a nation of people who have all these resources in hand, and for the longest time have just turned their back on it. But they collect money. That's the other messed up part, man. They collect money to run these programs in those facilities, government money to run them programs and facilities, but got no results.
Right.
They still digging up cemeteries from the boarding schools on the reservations in Canada, and they still coming up with children's bones and grave sites. That's still going on, which should tell you that for the longest time, again, people were being taken advantage of. It's not like because none of that was reported at the time that it happened, and it's not like they didn't have the media outlets or communication skills to present that information to the public and let the government know, like, hey, it's all these kids had developed some rare form of disease, and they're all dead. They had the capability to at least make a statement like that, and they made their statements. But for decades, for generations, we don't know how these at one time living children and people became unliving children and people. And now we're uncovering grave sites on land that was, and this is not every case, but on land that was supposed to be part of our reservations, but still a lot of it was government owned. So on land, grave sites, not just a couple of graves and tombstones because they were marked properly. We're talking about like the mounds, Indian burial mounds that you hear about in all these dumbass horror stories and mockery movies of our play and of our history and our culture. They still uncovering mounds of mass graves of our children, of our brothers and our sisters that we're not going to see any justice from. And again, quite similar to this whole 4th of July thing, they're going to get and we're going to wait till we get the final verdict, but I ain't going to be no resolution that's going to be sufficient to stop it from happening again in the future. There's not going to be anything that's going to prevent somebody else to not do that. No inspiration, no moral compass, no thought in the back of their head that's like maybe this is wrong. they're gonna see somebody go through with it and damn near essentially get away with it. And they're gonna want to do something similar too, so that they can either be like a lot of them too, man. Like shit. I mean, they just trying to be like YouTube famous or TikTok famous. You know, you could be a prisoner and then all of a sudden you got like 3 billion views and subscribers on your channel. Like you're you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna get some kickback from that when the truth, you know, is not as enticing for the majority of the people. You know, the algorithm hasn't built up quite as much as um, silly kitty cats. That messed up though. Like the truth don't get as much airtime and play and recognition as pets acting silly. That's our competition. It's adorable kitty cats. It's like you said.
It's lies over the truth.
The lies over the truth. That's our competition. That's who and what we got to deal with. And we cool with everybody that wants to just voice their opinion and you know, live their truth and you know, be free without the constraints of, you know, some patrilineal patriarchal, if that's the right word, patriarchal, misogynistic, you know, belief system as the Bible. I get it. I understand it because this will not condone you getting high or being a homosexual or being a rapist or a murderer or a thief, child molester, a liar, an extortionist, a bully. This won't let you do that. But all they want to do is have fun, you know, live in the moment. That young person at the 4th of July parade, he was just living in the moment until a bullet passed through his brain. That one moment killed him living in the moment. And I ain't trying to make fun of any of these situations. Just like people gotta realize just how precarious and delicate the truth really is. Like you gotta pay attention to it, and you can't be as loose with it as you think. Yeah, what was the one scripture? It's like the heart. The heart is deceitful above all things. And that's something that again people they just want to cater to how they feel about things, and what they want, and you know what's important to them, because they got some I don't know, some teacher at some community college that has a degree in finger paint, like, and you're gonna take these people serious. Like this is gonna be your guide to you know, understanding the problems that we're facing and how to solve it, like the solution behind it. So I mean, again,
You said
finger painting. There's got to be somebody out there with a degree in finger painting. I can guarantee it.
otherwise, associates or bachelors in stupidity.
There you go. There you go. You got a master's in balloon animals, and that's who you trust. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm gonna wear my Mortal Kombat outfit. And we gonna rock. We gonna rock. The Fire Weekend that's coming up. You know what I'm saying? July 21st through the 25th, or through the 24th in Chicago. Go. Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, man. Like it's coming up like super fast. You know, get everything arranged. And if you got any doubts or I guess I should say doubtful disputations that you need, clarity on, come kick it with us, man. Come kick it with us in real life. Like come out with us. Come out with us. Come hang out with us. Come meet us. Come to class. We got 12 Seal General Muhammad scripture breakdown class on that Thursday. Like the day that everything kicks off on the 21st. Followed up by Cap Katazai Cross the Line Radio. On that Friday, I think that's when we're going out to camp. And we're gonna be on the Miracle Mile with Commander General Yahan. And either that Friday or that Saturday, so like I ain't got the flyer here right now, but you got the lecture before Columbus came with Captain Asaparium, Captain Katazai, big brother Kazak Yai from Cali. Saturday we got another event going on. We got the Bantu Fest. That's what it is, the Bantu Festival on Saturday. And Captain Katazai's book release, the 4th book release that he got in his series. You're gonna see that on that Friday too. So if you're really about that scholarship, business, get in contact with him, get them books. He's got the other ones sold online on Amazon. But you can meet and greet with him live right then and there in Chicago on that Friday. I mean, pretty much throughout the entire weekend, but he's releasing the book on that day. Saturday, we got the Bantu Fest, which again is predominantly going to be Judah. You ain't going to see like Africans and Hamites there like that. It's going to be us. It's going to be our people. Sunday is the reason why we're doing this whole thing. The Black and Brown Unity Picnic. Slovakia. The Black and Brown Unity Barbecue Cookout Picnic. Like it's the gathering. And you'll never know what this thing is until you're there with us. So I mean, any questions, comments, concerns that you got, ask ahead of time. Don't come there with no contention and trying to battle a point or something like that. I mean, somebody might entertain you, but you may get canceled, right after or in the middle of, because again, these are going to be private events, licensed and sanctioned. It's our space, and we have the right to refuse service or accommodations to anybody. So don't come there, big-headed or arrogant, thinking about trying to prove a point. Save that point. Hold your breath. And I don't know, maybe the next time you get to open a clubhouse room, alleviate your concerns there. That'd probably be the safest bet. But again, we gotta step away from all these holidays. That ain't got nothing to do with us. 4th of July had nothing to do with our independence. That was our oppressors' independence while we were still enslaved. And so that was 1776 when they did the Declaration of Independence, separating themselves from their oppressor, which were other Edomites. So you had Edomites that were separating themselves from other Edomites, just to clarify on the history of it, in case people don't know. Because even if you want to go back and say, well, Esau or Edomites don't exist, and that was just Britons or other Europeans fighting against and protesting against other Britons and Europeans. It's the same thing. It's the same narrative. Same family background. So when we say Edomites, we're not wrong if you want to classify it as Britons or Europeans. We ain't wrong for that. But they've gained a lot of traction off of our destruction and off our demise. They gained a very strong foothold as far as influencing, different nations and this country in itself. You got brothers out there. You got Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian brothers and sisters out there that would literally, quite literally, turn a blind eye if they saw something going on with us, if they saw us being violated or abused or exploited, taken advantage of by these devils, because their conformity and their comfort level and what means peace to them and how cushy and nice they might have it at their 95. That ain't gonna lift a finger for us. That's why it's very important to come to the table. That nation that's not desired, Zephaniah 2:1, it's very important for us to gather together.
That's right.
And disregard all the notions given by other nations and their philosophy, what they think is right or wrong, like how they think we should operate, our people, which is something that we give them leeway with, again, with the voting system. Who don't give a shit who your alderman is, even if it's a brother or a sister that's in that position. They don't have the authority or power to change something like that. Like the problems that we facing, like again, Flint, Michigan still ain't got clean water. How many years has it been? They still ain't got clean water. The George Floyd Square Center, brothers, sisters still getting murdered out there, man. Still getting robbed. Still doing drugs, being sold drugs, selling drugs out there. In that neighborhood where everybody's supposed to, band together and put a stop against all these hate crimes and superstition. No, not superstitions. Oh shit. Stereotypes about our people in that neighborhood, and it's still going on. I'm gonna have to look at the numbers about how many people may have gotten shot or OD'd or lost a finger, blown up a firework just in that neighborhood alone. Because what happened to somebody. And then a couple blocks over in a different labeled neighborhood, what happened to somebody. I know what happened in Green Bay. I know what happened on the Reds. I know what happened in Milwaukee. I know what happened in St. Paul. I know what happened in Minneapolis. I know what happened in St. Louis. I know what happened in Oklahoma City. I know what happened in Kansas City. I know what happened in Gary, Indiana. I know what happened in Detroit.
Right.
Because Proverbs 11:21, because though hand joined in hand, that's how we always started off. And then we want to cry wolf for everybody else, even though they getting their justice. Like, listen, let them die. Let them drink themselves to death. Let them OD. Let them run off a bridge. Like all the other dumb shit that they do. Let them skydive and their parachute not open. Let them bungee jump and the string snap. Let them go about their business and let the Lord judge them. But though hand join in hand, and we think that we're making some progress by joining hand with these devils, when they out there throwing up bottles of water at us and spitting on us and trying to knock our signs over and cursing us out and sending death threats to us and our families, but you want to join hand in hand with them when they're actually trying to, like, they're physically, that's the messed up part too. Y'all want to talk so much and so brazen about how hateful we are and how damaging we are. We ain't putting no death threats out there. We ain't Ain't no hate speeches or hate mail going out there. We ain't committed no crimes. Ain't nobody in the hospital because of us unless they cross that line. Again, it's a different story. We ain't no Christians, man.
Right.
You want to talk so bad about us when we have literally done nothing but read the Bible.
Right.
Literally, all we've done out there on the street corners is read the Bible.
Right.
And you've had people spit on us, try to knock our signs over,
Right.
throwing things at us, threatening our lives. And all we did was read the Bible, and that's our own people. We're not even really talking to our oppressor, where it says, "Happy shall you be." We can dash your little ones against a stone.
Right.
And he who led in captivity must go into captivity.
Right.
We ain't even reading them passages. Well, no, we're reading the passages, but to our people, and our people are the one that respond like that.
Right.
Our oppressors don't even respond like that. Our oppressors end up getting on their knees and kissing our boots.
Right.
And then our people even jump to their aid for that. Tell them, you ain't got to do this, you ain't got to do that. That's your hand joining hand. You need to let that go because the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered. You need, like, this is that's just a natural course of things. You need to let this play out. You need to step out of it. You need to step away and remove yourself from the scenario since you can't control yourself about it. And just let nature take its course. Let these devils bow down to the Most High.
Right.
And let them serve his children. You're going to benefit off of that. Like, I don't see the problem. I don't see the issue necessarily with how that's going to negatively affect us. When in doing so, and everything gets turned over into the hands of Jacob, into the hands of Israel, on earth as it is in heaven, into the Lord's kingdom, that's going to benefit the world, the earth, everybody, all the inhabitants of it. It's going to set things in order. And that 15-year-old boy ain't going to have to get shot in his face on the next 4th of July picnic or parade. And with that, get into the security announcements. We're at the ISUPK, established in 1969, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We're led by Commanding General Yahan. Go to isupk.com, scroll down to the contacts page, find that school nearest you, and see how you can get involved, how you can contribute. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can get the information right in your backyard. So with that, UPK announcements. All right, select security announcements. Well, the ISUPK started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. That'll be saluted only. They here shut themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find it in Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, And Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10 means tenth in the Hebrew, Ma'ishra. 10% of every penny of any 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department and teacher. So now you can go to icpk.com, scroll down to the donate now button, and you can pay your tithes and make donations there. In the notes section, you can just kind of delegate what it's there for. If you have the Zelle app, first name Israelite School, last name UPK, email ties@isupk.com. If you have the Cash app, get in contact with the school near you. Again, go to isupk.com, and then you can find out their contact information for the Cash app. For us, it is all caps, $UPK, Minnesota. You can make any donations here, or anywhere else if you choose. But free will offering for priests not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to cover that. Upcoming holy convocations, September 25th at sundown. The memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. Again, contact the school near you. See what accommodations that you might have that need to get met. Whatever you can contribute to, and what the arrangements are, what the plans are going to be, where they're going to gather, or if some people might not have the transportation availability. So just get in contact with them, see how y'all gonna work that out. And we have the Midwest Fire Weekend coming up, July 21st through the 25th. It's likely through the 24th in Chicago. The rooms are damn near all but booked out. I think I think it's pretty well sold up. I'm sure there's floor space, somewhere, or if you have to make accommodations that are farther out, that may be more accessible. But you're gonna wanna, if you haven't locked it in, get it locked in now. Get your money together now. Get your traveling arrangements together now, so there's no confusion last minute. So you ain't gotta skip over nothing, and you don't have to have any unnecessary, unwarranted problems. Any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. That means your boots, your shirt, your pant, your headband, and or scarf. So with that, Amadim, which means stand. Upon Yakadam, which means turn to face the east. Now that we in this new school, east is pretty much straight ahead of us, right? East is right here. Or is it one of these?
I see the sun right here.
So we're gonna go this way. We're gonna get a compass. We're gonna figure that out definitively. But for us right now in this new school, hey, Most High in Christ, hey, get the Most High in Christ hand for that. We got a new building, we got a new school up here in Minnesota, so it's cracking open. We're gonna turn to face the east, which for us is gonna be in this direction. So the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, you can find it in Matthew chapter 6, verses 8 through 13. Abanaw, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Batazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Barakasa, Kawa, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathanaw, Lakam, Ko, Yawam, Wasalakanaw, Kabawatanaw, Kasalakanaw, Kabawatinaw, Wala, Tavianaw, Banasawan, Abol, Awshanaw, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amlakwa, Wa'al, Wa'ata Para, La'olamim, Aman. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Amen. Pray to bless Israel and the evil. If you're following us on social media, you can type in the name of a loved one, send the prayers up with you. So I can Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Barak Lanawa,
Barak Lanawa,
Wayashala,
Yashala,
Wabayat,
Rabayah,
Sapari,
Sapari,
Barak,
Barak,
Rapa'a,
Ba'ah,
Magun,
Gun,
Hagun.
Gun,
At this time, say the name of Allah going once and repeat the name once.
Amungabar,
Mangabar,
Marakapai,
Rakapa,
Makabi,
God,
Kawan Yala,
Gwanyal,
all of UK,
all UPK,
so all of UK school,
all UPK schools,
all of Israel,
all of Israel,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai,
angels,
angels,
generals,
generals,
captains,
captains,
officers,
officers,
troopers,
troopers,
students,
students,
sisters,
sisters,
children,
children,
all of Israel,
all of Israel.
ISUPK Minnesota,
As UPK Minnesota,
all of Israelite school UPK,
all Israelite school UPK,
all of Israel,
all of Israel. Israelite school UPK,
Israelite school UPK, Israelite, Madarah,
Madarab.
Zechariah,
Zakai, UPK Minnesota,
UK Minnesota,
UPK Chicago,
UK Chicago,
UPK Reds,
UK Reds,
UPK Milwaukee,
UK Milwaukee,
Benjamin,
Benjamin,
Jamin,
James,
Rockapot,
Rockapop,
Annalie,
Annalie,
Raphael,
Raphael,
McIntosh family,
Backside family,
Sister Jamie,
Sister Jamie, Sister Yayana,
Sister Yayana,
Officer Madarah,
also Madarab,
all of Israel,
all of Israel.
all of UPK,
All UPK,
UK Minnesota,
UPK Minnesota,
Desiree Davis,
Desiree Davis,
Kawan Yala,
Gwanyal,
all of Israel,
all of Israel. Bashem Yahushua,
Hashem Yahushua,
Dwad Aman.
Gawad Aman,
In English, Lord, in the name of Yahushua,
Lord name Yahushua,
bless us in Israel,
bless us in Israel,
in the school,
in the school,
bless,
bless,
heal,
heal,
shield,
shield,
protect
protect,
our loved ones.
love,
Name Yahushua,
Yahushua,
thank you, so be it.
thank you so be it.
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Let's say Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and earth,
and all things living.
and all things living,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
name Yahushua,
name Yahushua,
listen to us now,
this is what's now,
right now.
right now,
Send evils and
this
curses,
is the curse,
punishment and destruction
punishment, destruction,
to the heathen
to the evil,
that speak against
that
us,
speak against us,
thy prophets,
thy prophets,
the teachers,
the teachers,
the
the
princes,
princes,
the priests,
the priests,
Israelite brothers,
the black brothers,
in the school.
in the school,
Send evils and
this
curses,
is the curse,
punishment and destruction
punishment, destruction,
to the heathen.
to the evil,
Shake loose
shake loose,
the treasure of the rich of Israel
the treasure of rich Israel,
that refuse to give to the school.
they refuse to get to the school,
Post their riches,
force their riches,
send to thy sanctuary.
dissection,
Send evils and
this
curses,
is the curse,
and punishment and destruction
punishment, destruction,
to the Edomites
to the Edomites,
and the
to
nations,
the nation,
the drug dealers,
drug,
court systems,
corpses,
prison systems,
princes,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood,
all the governments of our
all
enemies,
those who are enemies,
Amalek synagogues and arms,
all
Amalek synagogues and arms,
I'm not sending God's arms,
Roman Catholic Church,
from the church,
the Pope,
the Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
militia,
Ku Klux Klan,
Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
nation,
skinheads,
skinhead,
Pascomatized,
Egyptology,
gay movement,
gay,
lesbian movement,
lesbian,
spies,
spy,
workers of witchcraft,
works of witchcraft,
as a space program,
space program,
Army,
army,
Navy,
navy,
Air Force,
Air Force,
Marines,
Marines,
Wall Street,
wars,
open up the internet
open up the internet,
and the airways,
air,
give a access
give
channel,
access to,
a radio
and
channel,
radio channel,
convict the spirit
convict the
of
spirit,
any of thy people
and thy people,
that seek to stop
that's to
us
stop us,
and bring swift destruction
brings with
to
destruction,
all the heathen
to all the evil,
that stand in the way,
stand in the way,
try to stop
try to
us,
stop us,
broadcasting your words
broadcast your word,
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth,
Let loose all the plagues,
and use all the places,
cause them to go to and fro
cause to look to and fro,
through the earth and consume them.
to the earth consumed,
Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
let the place shake the house of the thief and the murderer,
Let Yahushua,
that Yahweh shot,
Michael and Gabriel,
Michael gave,
come down to find sauce,
down to find source,
punish all the heathen
punish all
that come up against us.
come against us,
We speak thy word,
speak thy word,
cause it to be known by all.
cause we know my all,
There's the angels that have done it.
as the angels have done,
Cause it to be spread through the media,
cause it spread through the media,
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world,
Cause them to shake it that come.
cause the shake that come,
Name Yahushua,
and Yahweh shot,
take the war with us.
as you all,
So be it.
so be it.
Saw to the front. Men of Israel, Michael Shabbat, Magi, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua, Barakatham, Yazamatah, courtesy salute for the sisters. Individual, Mighty Shabbat, Madu, Barak, Yahweh
Yahweh
Shabbat,
Shabbat,
Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Matah, class dismissed.